Was good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger, man. So first things first, thank you God for giving me this opportunity. Thank y'all, the Rich Gang family, for continuously showing up and showing out. And y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Anybody who wants to join the Rich Gang family, be sure to turn on post notifications, hit that like button as well as drop a comment down below. So, as y'all can see by the looks of the title and the screen today, I'm bringing y'all the top 5 most rare builds to use on NBA 2K22 Next Gen. The first one that I got lined up for y'all is going to be a lockdown defender type build. All around two-way, probably the most rare build and especially the most rare lockdown build that you're going to be seeing all year. I most definitely have to bring y'all this build at number 1 because we have never in the past been able to see a build that is all around but still a two-way, and that is the number 1 reason why also I have to say this is probably the most rare build in the entire game. So let's go ahead and get finished when it comes down to the breakdown of the height, weight, and wingspan. As you can see, we're going to be going with 6'6" for the height, and then when it comes down to the weight, I'm going to be going with 180, but for the wingspan, put it to 7 feet exactly. Now let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the attributes. As you can see, when it comes down to the finishing on this build, that driving dunk is going to allow us, being at 91, to get all of the elite contact dunks. Once we do with just the vertical, 17 badges for the finishing. For the shooting, the mid-range is going to be an 86, 84 three-pointer, 28 shooting badges, and we still got some free throw. Playmaking is looking really solid, y'all. 27 badges to pair up with the 28 for the shooting, and then 20 defensive. And all around on the defensive end, this build has everything that you're going to need, especially once you consider adding boosts on this build. Really going to change how you look at it. But as you can see right here, for that vertical, all you need to do is just make a few minor adjustments in order to get an 80 vertical. Now if you want to, you can even change up any of the attributes, but all you need to do is just make sure that the vertical stays above 80. This is a much older build, one of the very first ones that I brought to y'all, and this is the way that I made it. But as you can see, the takeovers, the shot creating, sharpshooting, playmaking, and the lockdown. So you will be able to break ankles on this build. I'm going to go with the limitless range takeover first. The second one, extreme clamps, just to go with the build name. And as y'all can see, we have made the all-around two-way build, y'all. I'm telling you, this is easily one of the better, all-around, more balanced lockdown defender builds in the game, probably the most rare out of all of them, and that is definitely why I had to put it number 1 on this list. Let's go ahead and get into the second build that I got lined up for y'all, my personal favorite. And this is the one that I bring all of my gameplay for y'all with, the two-way pass first wing. Y'all know, if you have watched my gameplay on this build, what it's able to do. The contact dunks are definitely there, but then when it comes down to the dribbling, whoo, very nice on this build. And then even to pair up that defensive side, I'm telling you, this build is really a straight demigod when it comes down to being out of the height of 6'7". So if you're still watching, go ahead and let me know below what y'all thought of that first all-around two-way build. But when it comes down to this one, I'm telling you, they're only going to continue to get better as we go. So be sure to follow along. We're going to go ahead and put this build under the small forward position. Then when it comes down to the height on this one, 6'7" is what I like, 180 for the weight. But then when it comes down to the wingspan, I decided to go ahead and put this to 7'3". I want to keep my three-point shot above an 80 at least. So 80 is going to be the threshold that I'm working with. Let's go ahead and take it a step further now. We're going to go ahead and start with the physicals, max out that speed, acceleration, go with an 80 vertical, and then a 90 stamina. Then when it comes down to the defensive end, here is where things are going to continue to get even better. So as you can see, you're going to be able to rebound on this build, but the steal, block, as well as that perimeter defense and interior are all very overpowered, especially like I said earlier, being at 6'7". This build can actually guard anybody 1 through the 5. I have experienced it on the 1v1 court. Like I said, the dribbling is still there, the shooting as well, but then with that threshold of passing the 84 driving dunk with the 75 plus vertical, we are able to get the pro contact dunks on this build, y'all. Now this is the way that I decided to make it. I know I have brought y'all a different version with over 100 badges, but this is pretty much going to be the more well-rounded version when it comes down to the attributes. As you can see, we will be getting the shot creating takeover, which is the number one thing that I like about this build. I'm able to break ankles, and the clips that you get out of it make it so much better, y'all. But I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the lockdown defender takeover. Normally, sometimes I even go with the sharpshooting. The playmaking is really solid as well. It all comes down to your personal preference as well as what you feel like is going to be best for your playstyle when it comes down to whichever game mode you're running. I'm going to go with the lockdown takeover for sure, and as y'all can see, we have made the two-way pass first wing, and I love the comparisons of Jimmy Butler, and also you have got to go ahead and throw in the comparison of Scottie Pippen, since that was my Scottie Pippen two-way pass first wing build. But now let's go ahead and get into the third build that I got lined up for y'all today. Another two-way, going to be called the two-way post playmaker. Out of the power forward position, 6'8", 280 for the weight with shot creating takeover, which means this is more of a big man build when it comes down to how it's going to be playing. If this build is in the right hands, I'm telling you, this definitely has to be my favorite rare post scoring build. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said earlier, if you were paying attention, go ahead and put this build under the power forward position. When it comes down to the height, this is very crucial. Now, you can go with 6'9" if you want to, or even 6'10" possibly. But I feel like 6'8" is really going to help you out when it comes down to the dribbling. Then, for the weight, I want to be able to hold my own. So I'm going to go with 280. Wingspan, going to be 7'6". And for me, that is the way that I look at it when it comes down to the best version for the physicals. Now, for the finishing, as you can see, the 92 driving dunk with 21 finishing badges going to allow us to get all of the contact dunks on this build. We're maxing out the mid-range and the three-pointer. Then when it comes down to the free throw, 68 to be able to take it into any game mode, 23 badges right there. But for the playmaking, we're still going to be able to dribble, especially even speed boost. If you add boost, run with teammates that do have floor general, that gives you another +4. But then also, you're going to be able to get that takeover, which is going to give you an even bigger boost on this build. So, 21 badges for the playmaking, 31 for the defensive end, and now onto the physicals. This is what's going to take this build over the top: an 80 strength, 80 vertical with an 80 stamina, y'all. Now, I know that I always tell y'all this: if you feel like changing any particular thing about this build, go ahead and do so. Make it to where the build looks like, based off of your own preference, it's going to look like how you want to use it, as well as with your playstyle. So as you can see, like I said earlier, the shot creating takeover, I'm going to pick that one to break ankles. Then we get the sharpshooting playmaking with the rim protecting. Now it all comes down to what you want to do. But to get the best out of this build, I'm going to go with the paint intimidation takeover. And as y'all can see, we have made the two-way post playmaker build. Now, I'm telling y'all, these builds are only going to continue to get even better, especially at each position of what they are. Now, I got a center build lined up for y'all, the fourth out of all of them. And as y'all can see, we are making the skilled defensive anchor build. Now, I'm telling you, with this one, we're going to be able to get the playmaking takeover. I'm just going to throw that as a little hint out to y'all of what this build can do. So if you are still watching, go ahead and let me know, what did y'all think of the first 3 builds? If you liked them, let me know out of the 3, which one is your favorite and in what order would you make them? Because with the Rebirth system now, you're able to make any build at ease with some animations, badges, and everything that you're going to need out of it. That is the number one thing that they have added when it comes down to this year. And honestly, it is a huge W, because that means you're going to be able to try out so many different builds now, which in my opinion makes the game just that much more better. Now, we're going to be going with 6'9" for the height on this build. For the weight, 217 with a 7'7" wingspan. Now, as you can see, this build is going to be able to do everything. You have 25 badges when it comes down to the finishing, 23 for the shooting, 17 playmaking with 24 defensive badges. Really well-rounded build, and remember, you'll be getting a +8 to any area of this build when it comes down to the badges. The physicals are on point. You're going to be able to really still dribble, shoot, and remember also I said you do get the playmaking takeover, which means you're going to be able to speed boost, y'all. Now, if there is another build that I would want to choose as my center to help out on the defensive end, this definitely has to be the build that I would go with. And we will be getting the pro contact dunks on this build, which makes it even better in my opinion. In all, I have to say that when it comes down to what this build is going to be able to do at the center position, easily one of, if not the most versatile center build in all of next gen. Now, when it comes down to the takeovers, I had to go ahead and get the playmaking takeover and pair it up with the sharpshooting, y'all. A skilled defensive anchor that's going to be able to snatch some ankles, shoot limitless range threes, but you can always change it up. I mean, there are so many different good options that you can go with. It all comes down to your play style as well as your preference and what you want to do with this build. As you can see, I'm going to end it with the sharpshooting and the rim protecting takeover for this build. And as y'all can see, we have made the skilled defensive anchor Bill Russell comparison, y'all. Y'all most definitely know this easily has to be the best defensive center in all of 2K, both on current as well as next gen. I got one final build lined up for y'all, the two-way post facilitator build, Giannis build, y'all. I'm telling you, this one is really going to be able to do everything. It really reminds me of the two-way post playmaker, but this one is just a little bit different. I really like it. All of these builds are pretty much getting over 100 badges if you make them the right way, and if not, there's always different ways to make them as well. So if you are still watching, go ahead and let me know in the comment section. Drop a like if you are. That is really going to help me out. And finally, when it comes down to all of these builds, let me know out of the 5, which one are you going to be making for the Rebirth build? Let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, I'm going to put this build under the power forward position. Then, when it comes down to the height, weight, and wingspan, I'm going to be going with 6'8". Then when it comes down to the weight, 280 is what I like. And then for that wingspan, 7'6" is what's going to work out for me. Now, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of these stats. Just please be sure to follow along when it comes down to what I'm doing. I'm telling you, these are easily the best ways that you can go about it when it comes down to making these builds. So as you can see, for the finishing to start out, we will be getting all of the elite contact dunks unlocked on this build. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is take it a step further. Not only do I want to be able to finish at ease on the inside, but I want to be able to shoot, so I'm maxing out the three-pointer as well as the mid-range and upping the free throw to where I'm going to be able to take it into any game mode. Now for the playmaking, I'm making it also to where I'm still going to be able to dribble. Even though my ball handle is at a 77, there are still so many different dribble moves that you can use this year, as well as when it comes down to both current and next gen. Now, when it comes down to the defensive end, y'all most definitely know this is a two-way build, so I gotta go ahead and make sure that the defense is straight here. We're gonna be able to get 30 plus defensive badges, 21 playmaking, then with the shooting we get 23 with another 21 finishing. Now as y'all can see, we are getting the physicals maxed out when it comes down to the speed, 80 strength, 80 vertical with an 80 stamina. The acceleration I'm not too worried about, but if you want to make your own adjustments on this build, you definitely can do so. Now when it comes down to the takeovers, I'm going to leave that completely up to y'all, but if you made it to the end, man, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all and I love y'all. And man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Go ahead and turn on post notifications to join the Rich Gang family. As you can see, we got the two-way post facilitator, the Giannis Antetokounmpo comparison. And go ahead and hit that like button, y'all. I just want you to know that I appreciate y'all. I love y'all and I thank y'all. Be sure to leave a comment down below. And with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Thank God and Rich out.